In recent years, the long-established economic partnership between the United States and Canada has encountered unprecedented turbulence.
Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them. That they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market, but they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity.
Under the influence of aggressive trade policies and the provocative rhetoric of former U.S. President Donald Trump, this once seamless relationship has been put to the test. For decades, both nations have enjoyed the benefits of a robust trade framework, with goods and services moving freely across a shared 5,500-mile border. In 2023 alone, bilateral trade surpassed $900 billion, including roughly $350 billion in Canadian exports to the U.S. This deep economic interdependence has supported millions of jobs and spurred industrial growth on both sides of the border, forging a bond that was as mutually beneficial as it was resilient. The situation took a dramatic turn when Trump threatened to impose tariffs as steep as 100% on key Canadian exports, such as vehicles and metals. Justifying these extreme measures on the grounds of national security and a desire to shield American industries, his America First stance signaled a departure from decades of cooperative trade. His insistence on levying punitive tariffs on every car crossing the border resonated with far-reaching consequences. Given that the U.S. imports over 2 million Canadian-made vehicles annually along with significant quantities of steel and aluminum, these threats struck at the core of the Canadian economy. Canada's response was swift and resolute. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, addressing international audiences at a London summit, made it clear that any attempts to undermine Canadian sovereignty would be met with firm opposition. His defiant tone was echoed by influential cultural figures, including comedian Mike Myers, who publicly declared that Canada would not be treated as a commodity. Myers' memorable appearance on a popular television show, wearing a shirt emblazoned with the Canadian flag and the message, "Canada is not for sale," encapsulated the nation's collective resistance to what was seen as U.S. overreach. The implications of these potential trade barriers extend well beyond political posturing. With a highly integrated North American supply chain, any imposition of tariffs could trigger a cascade of economic disruptions. Analysts have estimated that such tariffs might add approximately $3,000 to the average price of a new vehicle in the U.S., further burdening consumers already grappling with post-pandemic price hikes. Major automakers, including General Motors and Honda, face the prospect of increased production costs as they rely on a steady influx of Canadian parts and materials. The ripple effects could undermine not only the automotive sector, but also the broader network of industries that depend on a smooth flow of cross-border trade. In an effort to mitigate these potential setbacks, Canada has been actively exploring alternative markets and strengthening ties with other trade partners. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, with the European Union, which has been in effect since 2017, is one such strategy. CETA has reduced tariffs on 98% of goods, spurring a 30% increase in Canadian exports to Europe and opening up a lucrative market of 450 million consumers. This diversification is seen as a critical countermeasure to balance the risks associated with over-reliance on U.S. trade. Symbolically and strategically, Canada has even considered leveraging its economic relationship with key industry players like Tesla. Representing American ingenuity and the burgeoning electric vehicle market, Tesla's operations have been closely linked with Canadian resources, particularly raw materials crucial for battery production. A hypothetical imposition of a 100% tariff on Tesla imports would not only double the cost of models, such as the $50,000 Model Y, but could also derail Tesla's broader North American strategy, with far-reaching implications for both supply chains and consumer markets. The potential tariffs pose a threat to the entire North American auto industry, where the intricate network of suppliers and manufacturers spans across national borders. For example, Canada supplies around $15 billion worth of auto parts to the U.S. every year, supporting manufacturing plants in states like Ohio and Tennessee. Disrupting this delicate ecosystem could lead to significant cost increases, which may ultimately be passed on to consumers in the form of higher vehicle prices. The economic shockwaves might even extend to local communities, with factory towns facing the risk of job losses and diminished economic stability. Communities along the U.S. Canada border, from Alaska to Maine, are particularly vulnerable. These regions, with their long-standing economic and social ties, depend on a free flow of goods and services for daily survival. In towns like Skagway, Alaska, or Whitehorse in the Yukon, residents share resources and services across the border, while areas like Point Roberts, Washington, rely heavily on Canada for essential utilities. An abrupt shift in trade dynamics could result in increased costs for everyday products, from building materials to staple foods, threatening the livelihood of border communities that have thrived on mutual support. In anticipation of these challenges, the Canadian government has introduced strategic measures designed to protect domestic industries and workers. In August 2024, Canada announced a 100% surtax on all Chinese-made electric vehicles, as well as a 25% surtax on steel and aluminum imports from China. These steps are intended to level the playing field for Canadian manufacturers, allowing them to compete more effectively both domestically and on the global stage. Additionally, by extending a tax credit for mineral exploration for another 2 years, Canada aims to bolster its mining sector, reduce reliance on external investments, and reinforce its overall economic resilience. This period of escalating trade tensions serves as a stark reminder of the fragility inherent even in the most enduring economic alliances. While protectionist policies might offer short-term relief to certain industries, they often produce unintended and far-reaching consequences that reverberate through entire economies. The intertwined fates of the United States and Canada mean that any prolonged dispute will likely result in higher consumer prices, potential job losses, and a gradual erosion of the diplomatic goodwill that has long underpinned their relationship. If you've enjoyed this in-depth exploration, please consider supporting us by giving the video a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement is vital in helping us continue to bring you more comprehensive and insightful stories. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.